I would like to introduce myself briefly as host and moderator for today's session. My name is Harald Eisenhower, and I'm co-founder and head of Accelerator at DEEP Ecosystems. We are a global community of innovation ecosystem hubs. We support ecosystem builders in their efforts to grow regional and vertical ecosystems, communities, and institutions that support startups and support innovators in their context. Today, and I would like to share my screen. I'm sharing already. Today, we would like to go through these couple of points. So as you may have seen already, we want to announce the launch of a new program with a specific focus on Hungary. Our DEEP Startup Ecosystem Accelerator, DEEPSEA, with focus on Hungary, together with the esteemed partner organizations NYU, the National Innovation Agency of Hungary, Óbuda University, Óbuda University Venture Capital, and EIT Health in Hungary. We are offering this new program. It's a 2-year innovation program inviting organizers or ecosystem builders that have the will, that have the ambition, that have a vision to change something, to build something that will promote Hungarian startups, that will promote the Hungarian startup ecosystem over the next 2 years with our support. And how that works and what we are thinking behind this, why we are doing this, this would be the purpose of today's webinar, to discuss that. If you have any questions, we do have the function here in the chat. There's a Q&A button that you can click, so you can drop your questions, or at the end of the presentations, we will also have open mics so that you can talk directly to us. Yeah. Today, we will first hear from my esteemed co-founder and CEO of DEEP Ecosystems, Thomas Kösters, who will outline a little bit the vision of the accelerator, of the Ecosystem Accelerator of Hungary. Then we will give the word to our partner organizations represented by Scholt, Laszlo, and Imre, so they can also explain why they're doing this, what the vision is, what the vision for the Hungarian ecosystem is regarding the future from their perspective. And then lastly, back to me, I will quickly share a few words about the program, what's next and what would be in it for you, and also the call to action, which would be an invitation to meet us in person on 1st of July in Hungary for our ecosystem hack. That's going to be a 1-day workshop. And then also how to join the program DEEPSEA Hungary for ecosystem builders and work with us over the next 2 years. So far, so good. I would now hand over to my CEO, Thomas. You want me to continue sharing the slides, or would you like to share?
Yeah, please continue with the slides. That's easier.
Yes.
Great. Yeah, we can go to the next one. And welcome from my side, everyone. My name is Thomas Kösters. I'm the co-founder of DEEP Ecosystems together with Harald and 3 other co-founders that span the globe. Actually, we have been witnessing the build-up of startup ecosystems in Europe and in Latin America firsthand. And this experience is what we bring to the DEEP Startup Ecosystem Accelerator, together with many, many peers and mentors and stakeholders that are part of this process. So we are super excited that we're coming to Hungary to help grow the ecosystem, help scale internationally your initiatives, and make sure that we see more. I think last year we had the first unicorn since a long time in Hungary again. So I hope we see many more of those. Let me start broad before we go into the program. What is the vision? What is ecosystem building? Why do we do this? Let me start with the question, why startups fail. Many of you probably have seen startups with bright ideas, good founders, and still they do not make it. They fail. And the reasons often are out of reach of the founders. The reasons for the failure are market failures, are problems and barriers in the system that make it impossible for a new innovation to become successful, or for that particular founder from that particular region to succeed. we see these failures come from many different angles. It could be that the technologies are not accepted in society. You are too early on the market. When you present this novel approach, this new technology, people look at you and say, no, we're not going to do this. We've never done it like this. Why should we buy this? Why should we do this? So acceptance of a new technology in everyday life is something that is sometimes out of your control and can hinder an innovative startup to succeed. Regulations. You can have rules and laws that just forbid this innovation or hinder it. You can have skill challenges. You might be building a successful company early stage, but then when you grow, you need to hire engineers, marketers, salespeople. And if you do not find people that understand this new innovation, this new technology, or this new approach, you are limited in your growth. You might fail because of that, because these skills are not available for your company or even at your customers to make the most use of this new technology innovation. You might have challenges that are more tricky to understand, but still on a system level, you might have challenges of data and information, the exchange of data, because it's not standardized, because you cannot talk to each other. We just spoke to colleagues in the manufacturing space that are working to innovate there. One big problem is that you have no access to the data that the machines produce. And if you have that data in your machine, you cannot exchange it with your service providers. So there is not like one language that is spoken across technology providers. This is something that can lead to technology to fail. Financial markets. No one is willing to invest in your region into this new innovation, because not because it's a bad innovation, but because the financial market is not trained and has not yet set up the processes and the trust to invest in this kind of asset. Now we know that early stage funding is something novel to many markets. You do not have an early stage investment market. What are the reasons behind that? They are systemic. So these are problems outside of the hand of the individual founder. They can pitch the best they can. Still, if there is no investors on the other side, it is tough. And lastly, also the community of innovators, the ecosystem, as sometimes it is simply put, founders helping each other, founders jumping ship, one startup failing, jumping to the other startup and staying within the game in the same industry, just with a different startup and advancing from a higher level with the next one. This kind of flywheel effect in the ecosystem is super important, but it can only work if you have the density of enough startups working on the same challenges, the same new emerging markets and industries in the same region. Otherwise, you will have difficulties to jump ship, right? If you do not have another startup working on the same topic in the same region. So these are some 8 issues that we have identified on a systemic basis that can apply to the emergence of any new innovation field that you can pick. We have done this analysis, for example, for the fintech market. Now we can do it for the AI market, etc. If these systemic things are not in place, we're going to struggle to have successful startup founders, no matter how good they are. And that is what ecosystem building at its core is really about. It is about creating the systemic causes, the systemic baseline for startup founders to be successful. As an ecosystem builder, we're working on these areas that are out of reach of the individual founder. The individual founder can have a great education, can have all the skills, they can acquire that on their own. It is not necessary to have an ecosystem builder support them. But ecosystem builders are super important when it comes to the issues that are out of hand of the very individual founder. And we have a lot of people working on these challenges. By visiting Hungary, I've seen that there's many people working on various areas. And I would like to hear from everyone here today and also in the process that we're starting. What are the issues? What are the specifics that you see in Hungary where things are failing, where we have to change something on the systemic level. And for that, we are looking to find initiatives, we find projects that are cooperatively deployed by the system actors inside Hungary to overcome these challenges. And we are here to help you doing that by bringing in international partners, know-how, blueprints, best practices, mentors, experts from other regions that you can collaborate on to attack these issues. We call that moonshot project. Maybe if you just click through the next slides, you see a bit how we go about these moonshot projects that attack the systemic issues. First of all, we accelerate coalitions for ecosystem growth. So here in Hungary, you form coalitions for changing these systemic challenges, and we want to support you in building these coalitions to make a change. There is role models for that that we have witnessed firsthand, that we will talk about and bring insights about. Unternehmertum in Munich, Startup Chile in Chile, Station F in Paris. A lot of learnings from those that we can bring to the table. Next slide, maybe. We then gonna have a structured process. The Startup Ecosystem Accelerator is a 2-year process that these moonshot projects will embark on. We will have like 6 weeks of intensive work on the concepts of these moonshot projects, on how we're going to impact the systemic level that we identified. And after the 6 weeks, we continue for 2 further years in the implementation, helping with data-driven analysis, blueprints, structured implementation support, focus on business models and sustainability, fundraising. How can you make these ideas become reality and really implement them? We talk here about initiatives that need personnel, staff working on them, spending time on fixing these challenges. So you need to have budget, and we are here to look for this budget, private and public side fundraising, to make sure we have these moonshot projects actually implemented. And that is the 2-year program that is called the DEEP Startup Ecosystem Accelerator Hungary. Next slide. What's happening inside the accelerator is that you become part of a system of shared capabilities. You are not joining just alone. No, we're bringing in these project owners that want to change something, and you're part of a Hungarian group. So we're going to have 8 to 12 Hungarian initiatives that are going to work together towards their individual goals, but sharing resources and capabilities with each other. But at the same time, we have that international group of ecosystem builders that is organized inside Deep Ecosystems that shares the capabilities across the world, really. We have intelligence, we share international network, we share startup access, we share ecosystem growth, that is access to corporate stakeholders, government, and we're going to share funding opportunities and win funding together. So you're not alone. You join a strong group of ecosystem builders that help you to reach the next level and really professionalize the ecosystem building activities. Next slide.
Yeah, actually, this slide I will present later on.
Okay.
So I think from your point, if you would like to close, then we can also hand over to the others.
Yes, absolutely. So I think that it became clear how the 2-year program looks like on a high level. Of course, we can talk about the details, but basically now we're looking for these initiatives in Hungary that want to change something on the systemic level. And join the 2-year program. We get a lot of support, and the process to that Harald will present. It will start with an ecosystem hack 1st of July. that Harald will present in a minute. So you're early on in the process now, so it's the best time to engage.
Thank you very much, Thomas, for your input. And just on time, that's great. Now, as I'm showing here on the overview, I would like to hand over to our esteemed partner organizations who are running and offering this program together with us, and we are happy about to work with. Yeah, they are great partners and they have a vision, right? So they are, let's say, going out there, leading the ecosystem, calling for new initiatives, calling for new energy and new passion to be fostered and grown over the next couple of years. So I'm very grateful to have this partnership on the ground. And yeah, from my side, I would like to first hand over to Scholt. If you could please limit yourself to 5 minutes or less, a quick presentation of who you are, what you do at EIT Health, and your vision regarding the moonshot ecosystem growth initiatives, what you would like to see from your side. If you have any slides, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Harald. Should I share my screen or will you share my slides?
If you want, you can share your screen.
Okay, I will do.
Yes.
I will do it. It will be better. Just give me 1 second.
Of course.
So, first of all, EIT Health and EIT Health InnoStars is a proud partner of this initiative, a proud partner of everybody who will play an important role of the DEEPSEA Hungary project. And of course, we are very happy to work with the Hungarian ecosystem, important stakeholders from the Hungarian ecosystem. So for the next 5 minutes, let me give you a quick introduction about EIT Health, and which is more important, I think, what are we looking for in this project? What kind of moonshot projects are we looking for, and what kind of ecosystem development are we looking for? EIT Health stands for European Institute of Innovation and Technology. Right now, this is the biggest healthcare network in Europe, funded by European Commission, and we have about 100 partners. For example, from industry, so we have multinational companies and small and medium enterprises. We have so many partners from academia, university, and hospitals, and we have so many partners from policymakers and healthcare providers. So basically, and of course, we are working with startups. Basically, we are the biggest healthcare network for innovation in Europe as a continent. By the way, EIT Health would like to make their contribution to this project in 5 big areas, of course, based on these 5 important pillars of EIT Health. We have so many education programs and education initiatives delivered by the partners of EIT Health, of course, from a couple of hours webinar to a couple of years university course and PhD programs. We are doing many consortium building activities. Consortium buildings means innovation. We are looking for businesses. We are looking for 4, 5, 6 years businesses to the market from the development phase. Of course, we have a team and we can influence the policy making in Brussels and in the local governments. We are not a lobby organization, but we trying to do our best. We have so many programs supporting startups. I mean, we can offer access to knowledge, access to money, access to network, and access to matchmaking events for the startups. And that means we have opportunities for entities, for companies, and for individuals. What are we looking for in this project? Basically, I would like to share 3 important message with you based on EIT has best practices and, which is very important, EIT has worst practices. First of all, about the workforce. We are looking for projects, we are looking for developments where the competitive advantages of that healthcare solution or healthcare products should be based on quality, not based on cost, not based on short-term benefits, that means wages. We have seen so many examples. Low wages and competition by cost could be a great solution for short-term, but for mid-term and long-term, you will be succeed if you're gonna compete based on your values, based on your assets that you can offer to the market. So I mean, we are trying to find moonshot projects, and we would like to develop this whole Hungarian ecosystem based on quality, not based on cost. The competition should be based on quality. Second, the mindset, the whole approach. I think we have a kind of lack of trust, or maybe lack of business acumen in the Hungarian market right now. There is so dynamic changes in the market, and maybe that is the one reason why we get the lack of trust. We are looking for companies, we are looking for projects and ecosystem developers who gonna have a innovation-oriented, proactive mindset. And we are looking for real opportunities. Sorry to say, it sounds like a little bit buzzwords. Be proactive, be innovation-oriented. But what does it mean? We are not interested in what you would like to do. We are interested in if you can do something that should fit in the market, that should be beneficial for the patient in healthcare, that should be beneficial for the whole healthcare ecosystem. We are not looking for big dreamers. We are looking for big dreamers who can offer something to the market, which means financial sustainability, long-term financial sustainability and feasibility. So that is the mindset that we are looking for. And of course, scalability. Everybody knows that Hungary is a small market, so we are looking for, and investors are looking for products and solutions which will be scalable. But I think the scalability starts with a team. So your team with whom you would like to develop your ecosystem, or with whom you would like to develop your solution or products, should be scalable. That means we are looking for, yes, Hungarian market knowledge, but we are looking for an international team, because you will be play an important role in the whole European market with your solution, I hope, not only in Hungary. Somebody has to speak English very well, better than me for sure. In your team, somebody has to have the stage as a real salesperson. Please try to develop an international team from the beginning of your solution, because that means you will be scalable. So overall, EIT would like to add these more than a decade network and matchmaking and activity in the Hungarian and the European market. So we are ready to share with you EU market insights. We are ready to break through the industrial and border barriers, because Hungary is too small, but Europe is a nice volume to fit. Europe has the economy of scale and the economy of scope also. And of course, we have some great initiatives like European Health Data Space. We are happy to connect you with those European leaders initiatives. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you very much, Zsolt, for this presentation. I would like to hand over now to my esteemed colleague Laszlo Csiki from NYU, Hungarian Innovation Agency. He's Startup Director at NYU. And I would also like to ask you to present just about 5 minutes. if you could limit yourself about yourself, NYU, and your vision regarding the future of Hungary's ecosystem.
Thank you, Harald. I won't be presenting, and I promise I will be very short, and I'm just trying to give you a very short speech on the initiative itself and on the background from the new perspective. So as you probably know, the startup ecosystem, and not just in Hungary, but also regionally and even at EU level, is facing many problems, some of which were mentioned directly or indirectly by recent EU reports. In Hungary, particularly, we see several hindering factors, such as funding gaps, especially in the very early stages, and also, as Zsolt mentioned, the lack of capital and also human capital and the experience necessary for successful international expansion. And when we started to work with you, so with the DEEP Ecosystem company, and the project plan was born, the concept of this so-called moonshot project was designed to tackle relevant problems that are in line with the scope and goals of the Hungarian Innovation Agency. Because in my head, these moonshot projects also meant to first stimulate the domestic startup ecosystem, help university startup projects to reach the market, and provide promising startups with the capital necessary to grow and to attract foreign investors. And this is the main reason why we at the Hungarian Innovation Agency support these initiatives with high hopes and, of course, with excitement. And not just this project, but within our capabilities, also any other project that aim to give added value to the ecosystem, because that's what we do, that's what the agency do. So we connect and support the actors that are willing to make an impact. And I also encourage you, the key players, to join us in this Ecosystem Accelerator project and to help us get the most out of it. Thank you. I hope it was short enough. I fit it.
Absolutely, very good. And maybe if later on there are questions, you can also talk directly or drop your questions in the chat. That was Laszlo. Thank you very much for the Hungarian Innovation Agency. Lastly, or next, I would like to hand over to Imre Hild. He's CEO of Óbuda Uni Venture Capital, representing both Óbuda Uni Venture Capital and Óbuda University. Please also from your side, you want to share your slides yourself, or should I take care of it?
No, I can do that. Can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I will try to be short. Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so
sorry, if you want to go on full screen, then we can see it full screen.
I thought it was full screen now.
Then we're only seeing the PowerPoint window, but we can see it. It's okay.
That's okay.
Just go on.
Okay.
We can see it.
Yeah, so we are, for those of you who don't know, we are a 10 billion forint, about 28 million euro fund targeting 40 deals investment in the investment size, 70K to 750K, typically early stage technology investments. But honestly, we are agnostic. We are stage agnostic, and even our market focus is very, very wide. The only thing is that we try to focus on technologies. So technology that actually makes a difference in the development of the company. We like to co-invest, so we are open to investing with anyone, internationally and locally. We've done it in our past investments. We have already invested in 6 companies, and we have also kind of a venture studio aspect to our operations. And I saw that Károly Szántó, my colleague, is here on the call. He's the head of the venture studio and the venture building effort. So we are very much focusing on not only providing capital, but providing some knowledge, network, and business development acumen. So we try to be really the intermediary between academia and markets. And actually, this is really happening. I'm happy to report that in the first quarter of this year, we had 3 instances when a startup came from the outside, we identified pretty strong research capability within the organization, and that person became affiliated with the university, started to teach at the university, giving lectures and getting involved in the life of the university. So basically, the innovation kind of circulation, the blood circulation, as I like to call it, is not only from the university outside, but from the outside inside, and that's, I think, is one of the aspects that is very often overlooked. Everybody's looking at universities as a source of technology and R&D, but very often it's outside and it's coming into the university, and that can also be very beneficial for both organizations. Now, to cut it short, what can DEEP ecosystem change in the Hungarian ecosystem? And I'm very happy that we used, and actually I think Harald used the word change and build in the Hungarian ecosystem, because in our opinion, change is a bit needed. I'm very happy to see that there are many forward-looking and progressive minds on the call, and I'm honestly happy about it, that they already have experience with international involvement, and probably this initiative can actually substantiate and can support that. So I think that the number one is like the big kind of overarching goal is to change the mindset, which I think, needless to say, it's rather myopic in many instances. So we have to change the mindset. We have to develop those shared values that is going to say explicitly why the ecosystem should move in one particular direction, and that particular direction is actually internationalization, as Zsolt and Laszlo also kindly suggested. It has to be an inclusive community. I would like to see more. There are some, obviously, but I would like to see more involvement and more inclusion of various parts of the startup ecosystem society, and then setting up goals to change the current context, and that can be done, I think, by mass. So we have to have kind of economies of scale in terms of number of people, number of projects that are going to push the ecosystem in the right direction. What's that right direction? What are those movements or those activities? Number one, learning from others' examples. So that's why I think that Thomas and Harald's blueprints are going to be crucial to actually understand, try to apply, and then adopt it to the Hungarian local circumstances. Development through internationalization. I think that in the last 15 years, again, respect to those who actually have been very active internationally, there was a strong effort to look inward, and I think now we have to actually start to look outside also, because that's where the valuation of this ecosystem coming from. I'm not going to go into details about some of these examples. The Diaspora initiative is involving Hungarians living abroad, bringing back business acumen, and also capital. The startup university linking, our experience that we realized, how external market players can be actually involved in helping universities, reach higher levels within their own rankings. Accelerator preparatory program. That's also very, very important, because I don't know if you guys follow it, but internationally, just in the last 3 months, we've seen a big shift in actually capital moving away from Europe and more moving towards, again, to the US. And many US funds are kind of retracting, and that's something that we have to work on, because Europe has to actually at least be on par with some of these international big powerhouses. And showcasing startups, having access, having visibility is also clearly an important initiative in my mind. Again, we cannot just do these one-off transactions. We have to have an active, ongoing connection to international communities. So anybody who is actually working on that, or would like to actually expand on that and give structure and material to that, I think that would be very much welcome in my book. So overall, the more international, the better. The more we can actually get knowledge from these other ecosystems and learn what didn't work in those cases, can actually speed up and make up our delay compared to some other ecosystems. And I think again, in the interest of trying to be short, that would be it. So if anybody would like to follow up or have a comment to what I said, here's my email address.
Excellent.
So back to you, Harold.
Thank you very much, Imre. You're very good in time. Thank you for the presentation. And yes, also the offer by all the speakers to stay in touch, to connect. Please make use of that. This is a collaborative effort. So yeah, if you have questions, you can post them here in the chat. You can later on open your mic at the end of the presentations, or reach out directly to the speakers or to the partner organizations, of course. Now, I would like to continue, and this would be yeah, the last item for today. Let me just share my screen again. Yeah, so we're now back to what to expect regarding the next steps of DeepSea Hungary. We heard from the three speakers, Scholt, Laszlo, and Imre. Thomas before that, thank you very much for that. Now, to you, basically, the offer. What are we offering to you? First of all, we want to invite you to join us in person on the 1st of July for our ecosystem hack. This is a one-day workshop. It's like the pre-accelerator, right, where we are bringing together around 30 to 50 stakeholders, including people that have an idea, that have a vision, that want to change something, want to innovate the ecosystem, to come together, ideate, discuss a little bit challenges or gaps or opportunities from the ecosystem, and focus on what kind of interventions, what kind of ideas would be useful to have. We will bring in international good practices, right? So this can serve as an inspiration. And discuss during this one day together with the participants how we can kickstart new projects, how would they look like, and maybe even inspire some people to lead these projects as owners, right? So this can be an individual or an organization that says, yes, I want to build this new international bridging program. Yes, I want to build this new conference. Yes, I want to build this new platform. I'm in, work with me. Yeah, so this is 1st of July, ecosystem hack, and on the website, which we'll also share, deepecosystems.com/DeepSea Hungary, you can find more about it and also pre-register. Since we have limited space, we cannot take, let's say, 100 or 1,000 people in. So please sign up soon so that we can confirm you. We did have our bigger conference already 2 years ago, our DEEP conference that was at Oberda University in 2023. So let's say the conference part is over. Now with the hack, we're more focusing on project ideas. Yeah, this is not, also just to be clear, not a pitching opportunity for startups, right? So if you're leading a startup, you're welcome, of course, but not from the perspective of pitching or finding investors, but from the ecosystem perspective. Do you have an idea to grow? Yeah, we already invited a wide variety of actors from investors, institutions, public sector, private sector, universities from across Hungary, and also internationally. So we look forward to that. It's about 1 month to go. Yeah, I will look forward to seeing maybe some of you also who are already here connected. Good. This is the hack. And to move on. Yeah, DeepSea Hungary, just to also add this other perspective, you can read that also on our website, DeepSea Hungary, on deepecosystems.com. Yeah, what are the goals? We heard from the 3 partnering organizations. One who is not speaking here today, unfortunately, is Mr. Bodish. He's the Deputy State Secretary of Innovation and also CEO of the Hungarian Innovation Agency. So he published a paper recently about what is needed to accelerate Hungary's path to innovation leadership in Europe, in the world, in the region. And these key points, if these sound to you relevant, if you think this is something that I can do, something that should be happening, improving coordination and strategy alignment, strengthening regional innovation hubs, fostering international collaboration networks, enhanced startup support infrastructure, mobilizing capital, yeah, all of these things are like the goal, the big vision that we should all be working towards as defined and yeah, summarized by Mr. Bodish in his article. You can find this on the website. yeah, you can check it out yourself and see how this guides your thinking and our discussions in the hack and during the implementation of DeepSea Hungary. Then, as Thomas had said at the beginning, DeepSea Hungary, it's a 2 years program accelerating ecosystem initiatives. Yeah, it's just to be super clear, it's not an accelerator for startups, but an accelerator for systemic innovation. Somebody who wants to maybe support 100 startups per year or 1,000 startups per year, or wants to double investments, or want to build new bridges, new opportunities for innovators. Yeah, so it's an accelerator for accelerators, or an ecosystem for ecosystems, right? We are working with intermediaries, with ecosystem builders, just to be super clear. And we call them moonshot projects, so ambitious projects that have ecosystem growth as a vision. How we do it, as Thomas presented at the beginning, so we empower, we partner, we take in local leaders into our community. They will be the moonshot owners, local leaders of these ecosystems, and we will work with them, empowering them through mentoring, data-driven strategy development, market intelligence, the access to good practices and best practitioners from the world through our network and our community, so that we can replicate or learn from good practice in other places. And most importantly, I think lastly also, and never to forget talking about is fundraising support, right? So if we run initiatives, if we want to create value for the ecosystem, it's also important to talk about money. So fundraising will be an essential part of the 2 year program. If you have a vision, if you have to pay yourself and your team and your infrastructure, then you also need money for that. And it's not always a given. If you represent a major institution, maybe you have internal funding. If you just start out as an idea stage, or you're alone at the beginning, that's also fine. There is a way to raise funding and to run your activities. And we will make sure that you get all the support you need, including from the partner organizations in Hungary, so that we can make this a reality. Yeah, challenges, we mentioned them already. So for sure, there's going to be a special focus on health, but it's not the only focus. Due to EIT Health being one of the partners. But in general, the example that Imre, for example, shared, how universities can promote tech transfer, investment into innovation and new business models. This could be one challenge. If you run or represent a university, how can you maybe build a new fund, a VC fund like Obuda did, or similar programs, right? It's an open call. We're not predefining what's in or what's out. You just need to make a good case once the applications are open. Good. And yeah, you can also find this on the website. I hope a good overview over the next 2 years. We are now in 2025, but just to be super clear, we will stick with you for at least 2 years, 2027, not as a threat, but as an offer. We want to make sure that the idea that we're developing together in the 6-week acceleration program at the beginning will take shape, will take form, will get the support that is needed to make it a reality. And for that, we have 5 specialized tracks, as Thomas also presented already before, to make sure that you have the resources, that you have like an extended team with the ecosystems, the community, and the fundraising support in terms of data and intelligence, right? To understand what are challenges that I'm working on, what are opportunities that the market presents, that the ecosystem presents, that I can exploit. Access to startups, oftentimes that's, let's say, the pulse or the unit of innovation ecosystems, of startup ecosystems. How can I help that startups come to my area, come to my ecosystem, or grow out of my ecosystem? International network, that's super important. If you have the best ecosystem, but nobody knows about it, you're not going to be succeeding. We know that more open ecosystems are more successful than the ones that isolate. Yeah, so also in this, I guess, challenging or interesting geopolitical times today, if you are willing to be open and connect internationally, you will be more likely to have a success than if you are shutting down or just focusing on your own resources or your own assets. Business model and strategy support, that's also super important. We have good practices. We have blueprints that can be quickly adapted to your context. We have the mentors to make it work. So if you say something that I saw that works great in Estonia or in Chile, we can now replicate this or adapt this to make sense in our Hungarian context. We are here to make sure this transfer happens and it's powerful. And lastly, the public funding aspect or the fundraising aspect, super important. We will support you with regular monitoring, finding interesting calls, for example, from Horizon Europe, Erasmus+, national programs, foundations, international organizations, whatever is relevant, whatever can make it, let's say, made useful for your context. We will, with our experience, with our consultants, make sure that you see it and that you can unlock this funding. Yeah, so this, in a nutshell, is the program that we will soon open for applications. Yeah, it's not yet live, but if you're here, you're already in a good place. You can sign up on the website to make sure that we announce that we reach you once the call is open. And you can also sign up to further webinars and to the hack in person. Good. Some key dates just to keep in mind. So today is the 3rd of June. We're now kicking off DEEPSEA Hungary. We will have another webinar 2 weeks from now with an international perspective. So good practices from other places that can be used or inspire ecosystem builders in Hungary. Then on 1st of July, like I said, we have the ecosystem hack, one-day workshop. Looking forward to meeting you there. After the hack, we will have another online meetup, this one more focused on, let's say, recapping the learnings and the ideas that we had at the hack. And then we're going straight to the application phase. We're going to source at least 8 moonshot project owners. If it's more that are convincing, I'm also happy. I'm easy to be convinced. But we as partners will select and source the participants of the accelerator, which will then start end of August, include an in-person boot camp, also probably in Budapest, in Hungary, in the middle of September. That's going to be an accelerator sprint. We will meet in person and work for around 2 days with you directly, with our mentors. Yeah, and then 6 weeks into the program, we will close the acceleration phase, right? It's not about learning. It's not about academy. It's about doing. So once that's over, we go straight to implementation. We will have a demo day, an international conference next year. But most importantly, we will support you continuously with our whole, let's say, power, everything that we have in our power to make sure that you're successful as a moonshot owner over the next 2 years at least, or even beyond. We have many members that are with us already 5 years and more. That's key dates. Yeah, and lastly, and this is maybe just because I'm also here currently at United States at the Global Entrepreneurship Congress, as a recommendation, yeah, a soft ending. If you're interested in what we're talking about and you think, hey, I don't know much about this, but this sounds interesting, this book by Brad Feld's Startup Communities, that's a good starting point. That's a little bit guiding the philosophy of when we talk about ecosystem building. How can you build a community where innovation and entrepreneurs are empowered and are at the center? It's a quick read. It's not the newest book, but it's always a good start. And I'm mentioning this because I have the opportunity later to meet also with Brad Feld at the conference today. So yeah, this connection, we are global, we are a global community, and we promote ecosystem building. If you want to read this ahead of the hack, that's a good start. Otherwise, it's also worthwhile reading. This is it from my side. I would like to encourage everyone here to please reach out to us. We have a contact form on the website. We will share the webinar. You can reach out to me directly. I will share my LinkedIn and my calendar link here in the chat also, because we understand that 1 hour webinar probably doesn't answer all the questions. And we want to make sure that if you are interested in contributing and supporting and you think like, hey, this is crazy, but I'm in, just a couple of questions that I would like to discuss. We're happy to onboard you. We're here to explain everything that's in there. Also put you in touch with the partners. So please do reach out and let us know if you have any questions. Good. From our side, we went through the program today. So we heard from our speakers here today. I'm now checking if there's any questions. We have about 10 minutes left, so we can also open up the chat, or if you want to present yourself and ask a question directly, now's also a good time. You can raise your hand or just unmute yourself. If there's longer questions, I would answer them in more detail later on, but quick questions, please. Okay, I see. Bertalan, you're raising your hand.
Thanks for this.
Please go on,
Just a quick
unmute
one.
yourself.
I understand that you will have in 2
Sorry,
weeks' time.
Bertalan, just one question. If you could quickly introduce yourself, are you representing an organization or as an individual? Just so we
sorry.
understand.
Bertalan Jászkuti, Managing Director, Siron Research Institute. And my quick question is, I understand in 2 weeks' time, you will have another webinar on international best practices. But maybe you can just say 1 or 2 examples of, let's say, good case studies in your international practice of helping either a startup or a particular community to elevate from one stage to another. Maybe there is like a good case study, or you can.
Very good. Yeah, Thomas, you mentioned 3 at the beginning. Maybe you want to quickly.
Sorry if I missed it. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, sure. So there's, of course, the big role models of successful ecosystem hubs that have been making it, let's say, to unicorn stages in terms of ecosystem building. So you have Station F in Paris. That was the CEO is my ex-colleague at Microsoft, Roxane Varza. I've been working with her when she was there working in France, and I was in Germany for the startup program. And she was a blogger before. And she was part of the team that came up with the idea of Station F, the biggest incubator in the world. Back then it was just an idea until there was tech billionaire Xavier Niel. He made his money with some adult entertainment websites as well as with a telecom company that he founded. He invested 250 million euros into this ecosystem, saying we need to have in Paris the biggest incubator in the world. And that started with an idea. That started with some people thinking, what can we do in Paris that's different? And then finding this philanthropist, if you will, that investor that saw the opportunity, that wanted to put that money in. And I think that is like showing this, pipe dream becoming a reality. So let's create the biggest in the world, and suddenly, yes, there it is. There's this hockey stick. If you were talking to Roxane just like 1 year before that happened, you would have said, yeah, maybe, I don't know, I don't think, right? So you would have listened to the idea, and biggest incubator in the world in the center of Paris. So many obstacles, so difficult, but they made it. They pitched their ecosystem idea and created that. I think that's a good story, a promising one. In Munich, you have Unternehmertum. I don't know if you're familiar with Unternehmertum. I have been starting my career there about 15 years ago. It is the largest entrepreneurship center in Europe. It is 400 staff members big, and it was the brainchild of a PhD student. Helmut Schönberger went as a PhD student to the US, to Stanford, and he saw that they had entrepreneurship centers at the universities there. And he said, we need that too. And he pitched that to the president of the Technical University in Munich. And that president said, well, let's pitch that to Susanne Klatten, the here of BMW, the owner of BMW, one of the owners. And she said, yes, I'm in. She joined, and she became the CEO of that ecosystem initiative. Still is the CEO, Susanne Klatten. And so this has a budget of 100 million per year as well. It's funded privately and publicly. It's a huge initiative. And it does everything from entrepreneurial education at the university to scale-up support. It has an own investment fund, similar to what Imre is running at Obuda. But it has 400 people to really activate everyone in the ecosystem. So they have individual programs with individual corporates to have their funnel for innovation and startups managed. They have every problem you have on the systemic level, they have a person on it. And that's great. Now, that's what you want in a city like Munich. And that's also one of the reasons why Munich became a huge ecosystem where you now see unicorns popping up left and right. But of course, you might be also interested in very actual experiences from participants of our program. So we have been supporting early stage ecosystem initiatives that wanted to scale up. One example is a large tech conference from Denmark that worked with us to scale up to become international. And jointly, we helped them to go to Italy and to Japan to run satellite conferences in these countries. And you know, conferences, to make them sustainable is very hard. Now you need to either expand to other places, do the same thing there, or you need to have like auxiliary services, innovation services to become sustainable. And that's the challenges that we work with some conferences. We have also the biggest deep tech conference in Poland is one of our members. We're helping them also to create a sustainable growth path. We have partnered with the national with an initiative for a national health system in Chile. Harald was just there last week, supporting our partners on site. We have jointly raised funding for the setup of a new ecosystem association, including large healthcare corporates that are joining, Pfizer and I think Merck was for the German side, I think.
Roche.
So these Roche
and Siemens.
And Siemens. So this is the kind of initiatives that we're supporting, and they are raising funds. We are going there. We're helping them with our expertise and our resources, and our members all around the world are chipping in. Now everyone is supporting everyone. We see about 30%. Now let's say it like this: 30% of our initiatives raise significant funding. Now that's huge. Now we are very proud of that, but it's not 100%. So just so you know.
Good. Thank you, Thomas, for this good answer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Better luck for the coach.
I would add
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, just one clarification, Thomas and Harald, please. That when we say ecosystem initiatives, do we mean they have to have a registered company, or can it be a project? Can it be a future project? Can you be clear on that, so that you know, what do people have to think of as a requirement to apply?
I can quickly answer that. So any stage is fine. We're working with people that are just alone with an idea, no legal identity yet, idea stage. Or we work with established institutions like university incubators, economic development agencies, also corporates, right? So anything goes. It's important, though, that we have, I mean, this is the best formula for success, that we're working with people that have an entrepreneurial spirit. Yeah, this is not a training. This is not something to go and see, but it's for doers, yeah, for people that really want to build something. This can be an entrepreneur inside an organization, or a former founder who wants to give back and make sure future founders can have it easier than they did themselves. Community builders, yeah, but we are looking for people that have a drive and want to build something. And a key, let's say, indicator from what we've learned so far, this includes also the will to go out into the world, get your hands dirty and do fundraising, right? Internally, externally, locally, internationally. If you have the resources, you can build something. Otherwise, it's going to be hard. If you just pull it out of your head or just do it for free, that's not a sustainable ecosystem project. But this should not be, let's say, something to worry about. It's just like the will. You don't need to bring money into the program. We will make sure that we support you to have the best idea, and the best ideas will also worthwhile to invest in. Yeah, so that's going to be the path to success. Yeah, so long story short, anyone who has a vision to build the ecosystem, we will have an application form live. So it's a competition. Normally we have around 100 applications, and we can take in around 8, maybe 10 projects, right? So make sure that you present yourself very well. Make use of contacting and asking and connecting with the organizers, so that we know a little bit about you and your presentation makes sense in the scope of the program. Now, I've answered the question extensively, and that means we've also now reached the end of our 1 hour scheduled time. As I said, we will have more opportunities to connect. I shared here in the chat a link where you can find more information, sign up to the next webinars, drop your name into the registration form for 1st of July for the ecosystem hack in Budapest, and shared my contact details also if you want to talk to me directly. We will also publish this presentation as soon as my colleague is back in the office. So you can also watch out for that. And with that, I would like to thank all the speakers, all the partners, and all the attendees for your time, and end this webinar. So goodbye.